So another day, another fish feeding. Folks like this whole fish feeding thing. It's kind of cool, I say, just seeing all the fish run up and gobble up all the food. I have to tell you, once you folks get successful, if Kyle Morgan is watching, I have to tell you, Kyle Morgan, you gotta buy a fish pond. You gotta buy a fish pond, you gotta throw some koi in there. Because I think there is very little in life quite as cool as your own personal koi. Those really great little critters. They're big too. But anyways, I'm very happy. I am back outside again. We will see how long this lasts. We will see how long this lasts. We will see how long the great, wonderful, amazing, most magnificent Louis Rossmann allows me to be outside without gagging and coughing. I'm very thankful to him. I'm very thankful to him with his voodoo probes. Because now, at least, I'm not like in constant agony anymore. I'm only a little bit of the allergy agony every once in a while. So finally over my sickness. Jesus Christ. Finally over that sickness. And then, of course, run into allergy season. But it's getting a little better. I think the allergens are a little bit more out of the air. Like there were a couple of days there, I'd be outside for any amount of time and I'd be like gagging and sneezing and coughing and all that kind of stuff. And now it's not too bad. Like this morning I was out to do my nice little 2.5-3 mile morning walk. And by the end of it, my eyes were burning and I started to sneeze. I sneezed like 2 times before I got in the house. But otherwise it was okay. And then staying in the house for a while, cleared it all out. So I'm hoping as I sit here and talk to you folks for like the next hour, I'm hoping I'll be good for an hour. If not, no worries, the house is just right there. If I go running into the house, you know why? Like, oh, my eyes burn, go running into the house. You'll know at that point that Lewis is unhappy with me. You know, like Lewis is like watching the video with that little multimeter prong right over my head. Like, boy, don't say anything I don't like. I can't believe he said that. But anyways, just so everybody knows, there is no feud between me and Lewis. There is no feud. We are just bullshitting back and forth like geeks do. I think that's the thing that kind of worries me, like I say, with a lot of these people that want to be in the tech profession, is they say what Lewis and I are doing back and forth, and then they're like horrified, and they think there's this feud, and they think there's this argument, and then they think there's all this big stuff. And what I keep trying to explain to people is, no, this is how geeks communicate, like, on a good day. You know what I'm saying? That's why I worry so much about these people that want to be in the tech profession. Because they look at how, like, Lewis and I are communicating back and forth, and they're, like, horrified. They're like, oh, no, this is the feud of the century. And it's like, no, boys and girls, I really want you to get this through your head. This is how geeks communicate on a good day. This isn't when the servers are blowing up. This isn't when, I send the CEO's motherboard and it gets fried. This is on a good day when we're happy. So, if you think this kind of pissing contest is like abhorrent and you're like, oh no, the stress, the drama. Again, I will reiterate, as I say many times, tech is probably not your profession. I am one of the few like tech educators that half the time is telling people this probably isn't your profession. It's so funny, like I hear like all these politicians and I hear all these educators and everybody talks about how everyone needs to code and everyone needs to get into tech. And I feel like I'm the only one that's like, no, most of you people should stay the fuck away from tech. Because again, if you think the back and forth between Lewis and me is like some kind of high drama, this is geeks on a good day. This is geeks that actually respect each other and, so far, seem to like each other. We haven't actually had coffee together, so I have to be a little careful there. Haven't had coffee together, but we've had a lot of emails back and forth. We've had like a Skype conversation. So, 2 geeks that genuinely respect each other, basically like each other. This is how we communicate. If this horrifies you, again, find a different profession. Just simply find a fucking different profession. Because I swear, I don't know. We've had like a couple of email chains. We've had like 5 email chains in the past week. And it's like all good. It's not like, yeah. So, anyways. Anyways, it's all just good fun. I am trying to figure out what to do with my YouTube channels though, because this YouTube channel is going really well. So Fail Normal, this is good. This is rock solid. The only thing I'm thinking about transitioning with this YouTube channel is we may start doing a lot less of the Let's Lives, though I guess technically I'm doing less of the Let's Lives anyway, just functionally because I got sick and all that. But I hear more and more from people that they basically just want to listen to me talk. And so for like audio reasons and other reasons, when I take the camera and I walk around a lot, there's just a lot of functional issues with doing that, with creating good audio quality. And so I'm thinking with this channel, we actually may do less Let's Lives. Like we'll still do Let's Lives when I go to new and interesting areas, but I was thinking with the Let's Lives, like I was really going to push it. I was like really going to try to emphasize the Let's Live concept and really try to do like Let's Lives like every day, like even when we were here in Maryland before the bastard jabbed the goddamn multimeter things into my head and all that. I was planning, it was like, oh, okay, we're going to do Soldiers Delight Park, and then we're going to do Oregon Ridge Park, and then we're going to do Roland Lake Park, and we're going to do all these different parks. And it was really like every day the idea was to get out and do Let's Lives. But again, the more I hear from you folks, the more I question whether that's really that useful or that good. Not that we won't do Let's Lives at all, but maybe kind of like that whole like once a week, or when I'm in new and interesting environment. So like when we go to the Laurel Highlands, when we go to Ohio Pile, like maybe do like one there during the week, so you get an idea of what the environment looks like. And then we go down to Shenandoah, do like one there during the week, so you get the environment. So basically the idea is instead of forcing the Let's Lives, more like doing the Let's Lives when there's something new and interesting to see. That's kind of my thought, because like I say, there's a lot of functional stuff. A lot of people give me crap about things like audio quality, and the reality. Audio is a pain in the ass, motherfucker. Like everybody who complains about audio, it's a legitimate complaint. Don't get me wrong. It is a legitimate complaint. But I just want everybody that complains about audio, I just want you mofos to go out and do like 50 videos and try to get the audio right. Audio sucks ass. Audio is so hard. And that's why, like, if you're in a real video production environment, that's why you have somebody that is literally always listening to the audio. Like when I&E hired me to go do the interviews, like there was this poor guy, he was like their head of videography, and that poor guy, like, he's not a CCIE, he's not a geek, he's just a video person, and he sat there all day just staring at the cameras, making sure they were in focus, and listening to me. And that was like his job. And I think you folks like don't realize that for like audio production, is that when people really care about the audio, you literally have somebody there who may not know what the hell anybody is talking about, just listening to the audio. And then every once in a while, like I say, and that's the thing, because issues would pop up. There would be static, or something would be hitting, or somebody would be talking in the wrong direction, and so audio sucks. So that's what I'm kind of thinking, like maybe that'll help fix the audio problem. So you'll still hear the birds. You can hear the birds chirping. You can still hear the crickets and the frogs. You can still get like some kind of like little background image to get the idea I'm out there in the world. But the audio wants to be so hard. And the other weird complaint, and again, weird fucking complaints that are real. Don't get me wrong, I'm not snarking on you, they're real, but there are weird complaints. Is like people really are like, they really want me looking into the weird, creepy eyeball of this camera. I'm surprised, like how many individual complaints I have gotten where people complain that I'm looking at the screen and not looking at the camera. And one of the problems is, again, from a videographer standpoint, is when this camera is a little farther away, it's a lot easier to look into the camera lens, so it seems like I'm looking at you. Whereas when it's closer, like right now you're literally the length of my arm away from my face. So you're only about 2.5 feet from my face. And so when you're this close, it's a lot harder to focus right on the lens and make it seem more personal. Right. And so that's my other thought too, with going back more to that tripodish type environment, is again, if I can set this back like here, then I can talk, you get more of the background in there, it feels more like I'm talking directly to you. so on and so forth. So I think that's going to be like the one transition here on Fail Normal, which I don't think most people are really going to complain about, because again, most people basically say that they listen to this like a podcast, which realistically is what I'm shooting for here. Just so you know, like what my business model is it really is like, you know, the way that I look at YouTube is, or the way that I look at creating content on YouTube is everybody is hyper focused on all this viral short stuff. And I think they're focused on that because that's the type of content that has been popular. What I have found, and I am still one of the very few people to do this, is that I think a lot of people want to use YouTube more like radio, right? Again, like video used to be expensive. That's one thing you have to think about, like anything in like technology, is things at a certain point are really expensive. And so if they're really expensive to create and to distribute, then you have to be really picky with how you do it, and you have to be perfect. All right, so like when video is very expensive to create and distribute, then you spend the money on audio people, then you spend the money on lighting people, then you spend the money on all of this stuff to make the video perfect. But now that video is basically essentially free, again, I spent $1,300 on the rig I'm talking into, and I bought my MacBook Pro like 3 years ago now. But other than that, that's all the money it cost me. Then you don't really actually have to worry so much about the quality, because essentially it's free. It's all, and so what I'm thinking about is that I think most people, even though this is a video platform, most people look at it, a lot of people look at it almost like a radio platform. And so if I really focus on, like I say, these hour-long videos, then this becomes more, like I say, I talk about like Rush Limbaugh, and everybody always loses their damn minds. And it's not really Rush Limbaugh as Rush Limbaugh. It's more that talk radio is what I'm really trying to target here. So if I've got good video quality and got good audio quality, you can hear the birds and the bees around me, and I show you some different things, I think that will be good for this. I think this will be good for this. But that's Fail Normal. So I think we're gonna be doing fewer Let's Lives. Not no Let's Lives, fewer Let's Lives. But then what I'm trying to figure out is for Eli Computer Guy and Eli Computer Guy Live, I think I'm gonna start doing question and answer videos on Eli the Computer Guy. Because here's the thing. Again, we talk about passion and we talk about drive. Again, I would argue about drive more than passion. We should do a video about the difference between drive and passion, but there is a difference there. And one of the things that I found is my drive for creating video classes is like gone. I have zero interest in creating video classes anymore. And it's not, because that's the thing, like with passion, there's drive and there's passion. I think like drive is where you're really trying to solve a problem. You're really trying to put a product out in the world that the world doesn't have, right? And so that's the thing. And then passion is actually wanting to do the thing. So I actually like talking into the camera. So I talk into the camera 1 hour a day for Fail Normal. I just did like 6 videos for Eli Computer Guy Live, question and answer videos. So I like talking into the camera. I like talking about all these concepts. But my drive to create classes is gone. Gone. Like it's gone. Didn't even fucking leave a Dear John letter. You know what I'm saying? It like packed up all its crap. It moved to its sister's house. And it just don't give a damn. You know? And I think with me, the reason is because things have changed really in like 6.5 years, where like I say, creating classes just isn't that valuable anymore. Again, what a lot of people don't understand, like when I created those classes originally, is there really wasn't any competition for the types of classes that I was creating. Yeah, you had Khan Academy type stuff and like CBT Nuggets type stuff, but like really good, like kind of in-depth classes just really didn't exist at all. And again, though, it's technology. The world moves on. It's 6.5 years later, and I look around, and there's a lot of offerings out there. Again, you got INE. Throw them out there. CBT Nuggets, throw them out there. Not Ubiquity. Fuck Ubiquity. Anyways, that's its own story if you don't know that. Not Ubiquity, not Udemy. Udacity. What is all of these U's? Anyways, Udacity is like awesome. Udemy is okay. But there's like so many options out there. And then what everybody always says though is they're like, yeah, but Eli, they all cost money. Why we like you is because you're free. And they don't really seem to realize that that is not a compliment. Like every time people say, no, Eli, I don't want to do CBT nuggets because they cost money. I like you because you're free. Every time they say that, this is what my response to be. Because the point was never to be free. The point was, I liked it being free to the end user. I liked ad revenue paying for it and being in the whole internet world. It made life a lot easier. But again, I've paid for my classes. Again, I've got $250,000 of education that people wrote checks for. I wrote checks, military wrote checks, corporations wrote checks, governments wrote checks. Like, the stuff I've been through, somebody wrote a check for it. And so the goal was never, like when I first started creating the Everyman IT classes, the goal wasn't to make a free MCSE course. That was never the thing. Like when I created those classes, it was for like network cabling. Like there was no way to learn basic network cabling. Like if you want to go off to a 6-month fiber optic course, you could do that. But if you just want to create patch cables, again, how I learned to create patch cables is I pulled out like one of those stupid ass like white sheets of paper out of an Ideal testing kit and like spent a night figuring it out, right? And so that's the classes that I created. The classes like were the ones that didn't exist, like data recovery. Data recovery is a huge thing, but there were no classes on it. So I created 9 classes, or like Linux. And like not Linux from the Linux fanboy perspective, but Linux from the, oh crap, we have some weird ass Linux file server. How the hell do I even interact with it? So like all the classes that I did, the point wasn't for them to be free. The point was that they didn't exist. They really, like if you go back and you look at a lot of stuff I talked about, at the time they didn't exist. Even things like PC tune-ups. Again, if you wanted your MCSE, there are more than enough classes out there for your MCSE. But if you wanted to tune up a Windows PC, again, you just winged it. Like everybody in the world came up with their own system. Me, being me, I came up with, the whole checklist routine. And so that was something you could create a class off of. But what I'm finding now, again, in 2016, I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Like everybody's coming to these classes and they're like, Eli, I'm 30 years old and I've got 2 kids and I've got a mortgage and I want to make something out of myself. Teach me how to make money. And you're like, that's not what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're in an environment that needs AWS storage, and again, there's all kinds of videos on that. Like, if you need a storage solution, all of that material exists. And so that's where it's kind of like my drive is like, with that, has basically just disappeared. Like I say, didn't even send me, damn it, Drive, didn't even give me a Dear John letter. I don't know if my Drive is even alive anymore. My Drive, it could be sitting dead in a ditch, half raped somewhere. I don't know what happened to my Drive. Anyways, but it's just like gone with, like I say, the Eli the computer guy. So what I'm thinking about doing, and this is like just one of those business concepts you think about in life. So I have 3 channels, right? So I have Eli the computer guy. 700,000 subscribers at this point. The ones that makes me money. I have Eli Computer Guy Live, question and answer one. 70,000 subscribers. Makes me a bit of money. Not too bad. Pays the rent. Like if I had rent, it would pay rent. So, rent's not too bad. And then I failed normal, which it doesn't quite cover coffee money. Again, we're still right about that $200 a month mark. Which isn't too shabby. Realistically, for like any high school students or college students out there, it's funny, like when you laugh at money. But if you're in college, $200 ain't too bad. If you've got a house and a wife and cars, it doesn't matter. But, but so I think what I'm thinking is, because I created those 3 different channels, so Fail Normal, this is an entirely new venture. And what some people don't understand is why I'm not doing this on Eli the Computer Guy is because Eli the Computer Guy is actually kind of like with the Love Me wall. You know how in my office I have that Love Me wall? Like Eli the Computer Guy channel is kind of like a virtual component of the Love Me wall. So with Fail Normal, when I get to the point when I start approaching sponsors, and when I get to the point that I really start treating it like a business, when I have 10,000 subscribers or something like that, what I can do with Eli the Computer Guy is I can say, look what I built over here. on content such as the OSI model demystified, and then use that as an example of what I've been able to build, and that's what I'm doing here. And then people go, oh, I see, right? So a nice thing with Eli the Computer Guy is, again, 700,000 subscribers, which, I mean, you can't laugh at that, right? Especially with the type of content that I created. 700,000 subscribers, and it's still growing. Like, I've kind of half-assed it for the past year and a half, and yet it's still growing by like 12,000 subscribers per month, right? So like Eli the Computer Guy, like if I don't do another thing with it, reasonably could probably get to 1 million subscribers. I could probably get like a gold button off of that just by letting it do its thing, right? And so the issue, and why I'm concerned, and why I don't want to turn Eli the Computer Guy into failed normal, is because those people that have gone there for classes don't want to see this crap. And so if I started doing failed normal videos there, I fully believe what would happen is that I would get the Chris Pirillo effect. So Chris Pirillo, if you don't know Chris Pirillo, and again, I like Chris Pirillo. I think he has been a great resource for the YouTube community. I think he's like one of those weird unsung resources of the YouTube community. Like everybody looks at the Vlog Brothers or Philip DeFranco or these other people, and like Chris Pirillo just keeps like trucking along. He does some weird shit, but he's really supportive. Again, like I say, whether or not you like his content, whether or not you like him, I don't think he gets, I genuinely do not believe he gets the respect he deserves, because, you know, he created his channel, which was pretty decent in size, until he did some weird stuff we'll talk about in a second. You know, he's created Vlogger Fair, which, you know, is pretty decent in size. He helps a lot of people. But the thing is with Chris Pirillo is, so he was doing tech videos for a long time. So Chris Pirillo was one of those people that was way the hell above me. I remember when I looked up to the God, Chris Pirillo, right? He had like 300,000 subscribers. My golly. Way back when I had like 10 or 15 or 20, right? And I remember looking up at Chris Pirillo. And he was trucking along pretty good doing his weird-ass tech videos. And again, his tech videos were his tech videos. It was kind of along the lines back then of, you know, Marcus Brownlee or Linus Tech Tips or whatever. You know, he had his own way of doing it. But it was very consumer-level stuff. But it was trucking along fine. And then something happened. I guess when he started doing Vlogger Fair, is so there's YouTube videos, content creators, and then there's vloggers, right? I'm not even sure if this is a vlog, to be honest with you. I'm going to call this a vlog just because I get so tired of not being able to know what the hell to call the stuff I do. So I'm calling this a vlog, though I'm actually not even sure if this is a vlog, right? And so there's content creation. So content creation, YouTube content is like the Eli the Computer Guy classes. So that's content. The questions and answers that I do is content. Drama Alert is content. Grade A, under A. These are all just content. That's just YouTube content. Vlog is actually a very, very specific type of YouTube content. And so like vlogs are like Shay Carl, the Shaytards, right? Vlogs are YouTube content that focus on basically showing off a person's like life story, right? So this is the breakfast I had in the morning, and this is the car that I'm driving, this is my wife, this is my house, this is my fish, and whatever else. So vlogs are basically following people along in their lives. Which again is a very different type of content than the other type of content, right? And so Chris Pirillo, and that's where I use him as a warning. And again, this is why you should pay attention to what other people are doing. Again, so smart people learn from their mistakes. Wise people learn from the mistakes of others, right? So I follow Chris Pirillo because Chris Pirillo, especially, you know, 6.5 years ago, was still doing all of his gnome stuff. And so I looked up to him, and I was watching all this stuff. And then he started doing Vlogger Fair, and he got in with that whole Shay Carl crowd, and iJustine, and all that kind of stuff. And then some reason, I think he thinks he's more interesting than he is. Again, I like him. I give him all the respect in the world. But then he started going whole hog into vlogs. So his channel, he goes into vlogs. And ever since, every time I see his channel, it is in the negatives. Like literally, you go to Social Blade, and it'll be like -2 and -10. And it's really fucking hard in YouTube to get negatives. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, because even Eli the computer guy, my channel is, I mean, basically going along barely on autopilot. And it's still getting 12,000 new subscribers per month, right? And if you look at Eli the computer guy, I really have not put out that much content in a year and a half. And it's still getting 12,000 subscribers. And it's never gone less than 12,000 subscribers in like years, right? And so, like, if you think Eli the computer guy's on autopilot and getting 12,000 subs per month, then, like, what do you have to do to be in the negatives? You know what I'm saying? Like, there are very few channels I see in the negatives. The only channels that you normally see in the negatives, unless it's like the Fine Brothers and they do something stupid, or Santoro or whatever. Like, there will be instances of negatives, and then people forget, and then they go back into positives. But the only channels you normally see like that are genuinely in the negatives are simply the completely abandoned channels. So, like, iJustine created multiple channels, and like one of hers was like iJustine Gaming or something, where she put up a number of videos, got like 600,000 subscribers, and then just like dropped it. Like not a single video, not a single video in like 2 or 3 years. And so like that has negatives. But I mean, that is a completely abandoned channel. And I would still say it's probably losing fewer subscribers than Chris Brillo is. Right? And so that's why I don't want to do fail normal on there, is because like right now, that is an impressive thing. That is something I can put on, like Eli the computer guy is a channel I can put on my virtual love me wall and say, look, that is what I have been able to create. So the reason, and again, this is something you have to think about, like with business or with anything, is when people are dealing with you, there has to be that trust. Why do I believe that you can do something? Again, everybody in the world right now is trying to be a YouTube content creator. If I go to Under Armour, if I go to North Face, if I go to Ralph Lauren, hey Ralph, how you doing? I want to show the world what kind of nice clothing you have, right? If I go to these companies, and again, I've got 10 or 20,000 subscribers or whatever it is, they're going to be like, why the hell should we pay attention to you? And not that they necessarily will pay attention to me, but one of the things I can use in my argument is I can say, look, this is still very young, but you have to understand, this is what I created before in the tech sector. And so I'm trying to replicate it here, and then they can go, oh, again, somebody with 700,000 subscribers in one channel, and then you look at this new channel with 20,000 subscribers or 10,000, it's like, oh, I see where you're going with this. And then it's a lot easier to get that support. It's a lot easier to get the buy-in. Because again, a lot of you folks just don't understand, is remember, people that are in power, people that have authority, people that have that decision-making ability, they get every fucking numbnut in the world coming up to them with their hand out. I want sponsorship money, I want free products, I want this, I want that, I want the other. And the issue is not that they don't want to give it. Again, they have huge new media budgets. They have huge budgets for sample equipment and all that kind of stuff. I mean, like, for the taking, they just got to sign off. The question is, though, is when you've got 100 or 500 people coming to you, all with channels with like 5,000 subscribers, you know, who the hell do you give anything to? It's like, yeah, you know. And so that's the thing. So you have this. And so what I'm thinking to do with Eli the computer guy, because like I say, I've lost all passion for creating, like I say, the class videos there. And I've got this iXsystems thing. I don't even know what the hell to do with this review. I'm so sad. I think that's what finally killed my like drive for Eli the computer guy. So iXsystems, they create basically custom or pre-built, I would say pre-built FreeNAS servers, right? So FreeNAS is this really cool, really great, really nice open source NAS server operating system. So network attached storage. So basically it's a server that all it does is storage. And FreeNAS is a great product. FreeNAS is an awesome product. It's free, which is nice, but it's also just really good. Like if you need a NAS solution and you have a server or just any kind of computer laying around, you can turn it into a NAS and you don't have to even go out and buy one, right? So like iXsystems comes to me and they send me this, they say, we want to send you like this $4,000 NAS and have you do a review. And I was like, awesome, right? Because, right, you know, I like FreeNAS. I love FreeNAS. And again, I'm one of those people that believes in paying a markup for products. So again, if FreeNAS is free and then iXsystems creates, you know, whatever, supported or compliant hardware, you know, fine. Pay these folks a little bit of a markup and then get, you know, and everybody's happy. Holy crap, I get this thing. This thing's a goddamn embarrassment. Like, if the FreeNAS people are watching this, I don't even know what to do with this review yet. It's an embarrassment, right? So you get this thing, and it's... Like, you get Synology, and you get a nice NAS. You get a nice piece of equipment. You get QNAP, you get a nice piece of equipment. You get Drobo, you get a nice piece of equipment. You get this thing, this FreeNAS, whatever the hell, XL. Basically, it's like a mid-grade pre-built PC. It's not even like at Dell quality. Like, even when you pick up a Dell computer, you're like, oh, that's built well. You get this thing, like, you crack it open, and it's all off-the-shelf hardware, like completely off-the-shelf hardware. Like, literally, I just typed in the model numbers, and you can go to NewEgg and buy all this stuff. So it's just completely off-the-shelf hardware. And if you look at the price for the off-the-shelf hardware versus what they charge, so it's like $1,500 that they want to charge. And then if you look at building it from NewEgg, it would cost you like $700 or $800. So they literally like want a $700 assembly fee. Which again, I mean, okay, business is business, I guess. Business is business. I mean, that seems a little steep, but you know, hey, again, the company gives away its operating system for free, but then it goes and you can do this whole little thing where you pre-configure it. And so you can configure it with what they sent me with like 8 1TB hard drives. And so when you do this, the price goes up to like $4,300 or something. You're literally spending like $2,600 or something on hard drives. And so I sit there and I'm looking at their configuration screen and I'm looking at the price that they're showing me. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make a damn bit of sense. What kind of hard drives are these? Because they're 1TB hard drives they're selling. So I pull it out of the package and I look at it and I flip it over. And they're these Western Digital red hard drives. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Because if you do the calculation, it means they want like $287 per 1TB hard drive. I'm looking at it. And so I flip it over. I'm like, okay, hey, maybe this is SCSI. Maybe this is something called SAS, right? Which is like really like high-end hard drives, enterprise-class hard drives. That should cost you $300 a piece. And then I look, and it's like, no, it's SATA. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, what? They're charging $287 per 1TB red Western Digital hard drive. Now, I like Western Digital, and I understand why you use red. I don't understand $287. So then I plug in the part number, and again, NewEgg pops up. And on NewEgg, without the sale, you can buy these things for $80 a piece. With the sale, you can buy them for $60 a piece. So it's like, okay, so on top of your $700 assembly fee, you're going to be charging people $200 markup per 1TB hard drive. $1,600 markup for 8 1TB drives. And then I look, because I'm looking like, okay, well, maybe there's maintenance with this, maybe. And no, basically you just get like a 1 year, you just get a 1 year hardware warranty on what you're buying. And I'm just looking at this. And I'm just like, I think that's the thing. Like, you know, I don't mind being snarky sometimes. I don't mind being an asshole sometimes. But I just feel like the tech field is just so completely and utterly forcing me to be like an asshole all the time. Because how in the world am I supposed to get on a video and in any way, shape, or form make this sound good? Like, you know, because like when I do my class videos, that's a whole thing. It's like, you know, it's all perspective. So I would use a Drobo in this situation, and I would use a Synology in this situation, and I would use a Buffalo in this situation. And so I figured with FreeNAS or with this iXsystems, then I would say, and in this situation, I would use an iXsystems. I don't understand what situation I would use an iXsystems in. I just don't get it. Like, who okayed this product? It's not just like who okayed the product, But like, who okayed the product and then decided to have the PR department start talking to like content creators about reviewing it? Because like, who would give this thing a thumbs up? You're getting a mediocre pre-built machine with the free NAS operating system. That isn't the best NAS operating system. Like, FreeNAS is good because it's free and it's open source. Again, if I've got a budget, ain't honestly what I go for. I'd honestly go for Synology, to be honest with you. Like, if I'm spending $1,500, I buy Synology. And it's like, and then like, I feel like I keep getting stuck in these positions, whereas like with Eli the computer, I don't want to be a snarky asshole, but I don't know how the hell I'm supposed to review this thing, but like, at all. You know, it's just like, oh, right. So I think that's like the final thing that really killed it with me, with it. Just this, like I say, with Eli, the computer guy in the classes, is I'm just like, I don't, how am I supposed to get on screen and like say this shit with a straight face? And that's what I feel like more and more and more with these classes and all that kind of stuff, is it's just like, I don't know how I'm supposed to. Yeah, I mean, I guess I can lie. Again, if I was half the bastard people imagine me to be, man, I could make a lot of money lying my ass off. But I really just can't do it. Like I say, with the Eli the Computer Guy channel, I feel like it's just turning into one colossal lie. And like, nobody can really seem to grasp it. It's kind of like with the Eli the Computer Guy channel. What I feel like with so many of the subscribers coming there is, so back when I was trying to figure out how to make Eli this whole educational thing make money, right? Way back in the day when I was pulling ideas out of my ass. One of the things is, since I still owned my building, right? So I owned a commercial property in Baltimore City for my shop. So when the shop closed, I still owned my investment property. Fuck Baltimore. Anyways. So I still owned this building, and I still had all the equipment and everything into it. And I was figuring out how to make money off this educational thing. So one of the ideas I had was coming up with this apprenticeship program. So my idea was, you pay $500 per month, and then what would happen is you would come in, and so it was almost like a co-working thing, but like, you could come in, and I had all the equipment for a full-fledged repair facility. All the equipment was there, and so like, I would do like one seminar a day, like 1 hour seminar per day, and then you could go and you could do whatever the hell you wanted with all the equipment. So you could either bring in your own computer and fix it or configure it, or you could use any of the 20 test computers that we had and play with that. So like, if you needed to learn how to build an operating, or install an operating system, you could just grab a computer and install an operating system. If you had a problem, you could ask me a question like, why can't this boot? It's like, fucking change the boot order. I've told you that like 50 times. That I'm not saying that was a real situation. I'm just I remember that. It's just like, oh, the boot order. How many times have I told you the boot order? Anyways, but like, change the boot order, or like, if you want to create like a Active Directory domain, again, you could grab 3 or 4 or 5 computers and set them all up with their own switcher and their own router and create your Active Directory domain. You could do all this stuff, right? So I thought it was a really good idea, because that way you get a little bit of education, but then you get a lot of just self. You play with the stuff, because I think that's a problem with most. I would argue the problem with most training is there's too much class and not enough hands-on and free flow. Like, I would argue, like with college, it should be like 1 hour a day of class and then 6 hours a day of you figuring out crap on your own. And so that was my idea, right? So you come in, you get your hour seminar. And then you come in, and and that was the idea too, is like, especially with building a consulting business, is you could bring in your clients' computers and fix them. And, we'd run through the stuff. Or, if you're trying to figure out a client or something like that. So I could walk you through the whole process. That was the entire thing. That was the idea with the apprenticeship program. I figured I'd charge $500 a month. Again, I thought that was very reasonable. Again, if you look at all this stuff, I mean, that's chump change. Again, an MCSE program is going to cost you $10,000. So again, like $6,000 for an entire year, and that includes a building, that includes the internet access, that includes the HVAC, that includes, all this stuff, right? But here was the thing, right? So I was sitting there, and and the reason I killed it, so I got up to like 3 or 4 people that came on board. But then the problem was like trying to sell it. Was I would get all these people that would call, and again, this was in the middle of the recession, so this was like 2009, when just everything sucked. I mean, financially, everything sucked. Again, the reason I closed the store was because everybody closed up their wallets, right? You know, getting people to spend money was just a pain in the ass. And so I get all these questions from people, and they say, okay, well, if I go through your program, can you guarantee me a job? And it was so weird, because I was like, well, 1, we don't really have a program. I mean, you stay here as long as you want to stay here. And 2, of course I can't guarantee you a job, because nobody can guarantee you a job. 1, no educator should ever guarantee anybody a job, because again, getting a job is so much more than simply the education. It's your devotion. Like, you come to class, do you actually pay attention? You know, if I have a rock that comes into the apprenticeship program 30 days in a month, but doesn't really do anything, it's going to be much harder to get them a job than somebody that comes in 7 days a month and like busts their asses the entire time. So again, there's that. There's, do you have transportation? Again, that's not on me, whether or not you have your own car. How do you interact with people? Again, that's not on me, right? All this stuff. And so I get all these calls, and they say, well, can you guarantee me a job? And it was so funny, because I said, well, no, I'd have to be a lying bastard to guarantee you a job. I can say that I will do my best to train you up to the standards that people want, but again, it's 1, nobody should ever claim to be able to guarantee you a job, and 2, you know, in the middle of a recession, I definitely can't do it. I mean, the fact of the matter is at this point there is irrational non-hiring, like Alan Greenspan, the director of the Federal Reserve during the boom years, said there was irrational exuberance, that basically people were investing too much and they were spending too much money irrationally. And then, of course, you have the bust happen, and then basically you have the irrational, like, depression, where even when companies are bringing money in, they still don't want to spend it, right? Again, I have $1. It's like, if you go to them and you try to sell them a 2012 server for $1, they're like, I don't know, I might need that $1, you know what I'm saying? So again, like I say, like, telling anybody that they could get a job was just a complete load of crap. But you get all these people, like, can you guarantee me a job? And it was so weird, because I mean, I'd talk to them and be like, well, no, obviously, I can't guarantee you a job. I'd have to be a complete bastard to say I guarantee you a job, but I will teach you all the things that an employer wants, and I know this because I was an employer, and I can get you up to speed, blah, blah, blah. And everybody would hang up the phone. And that's why, like I say, I got a few people for it, but then I realized it would just be too difficult to scale it up, and that's why I shut that down. And also, my wife ended up having cancer and all that kind of stuff. But the problem that I run into with Eli the Computer Guy now, the channel, is again, I mean, my idea for the Eli the Computer Guy channel originally, again, was for professionals to come to the channel and figure out the tasks that they needed to know, the additional tasks. So the way that I always explained it, when people asked me like what kind of content I created, is basically the idea was, let's say you're a systems administrator, and let's say you get hired to a company, a small company, so it's you and maybe 2 like other support staff, and it's a good job and it pays well and you got all the benefits and everything, that's great, right? And so you get hired and they say, do you know Cisco? And you're like, yes, I know Cisco. Do you know Windows Server 2012? You say, yes, I know Server 2012. I'm like, yes, can you do Mac operating systems? Yes, I can do Mac operating systems. So the idea with Everyman IT is then your boss, the CEO, walks in and goes, oh, okay, I hope everything is going well. I hope everything is great for you. You know, so the servers are over there, the networking equipment is over there. Oh, by the way, I didn't figure it was a big thing when we were doing the interview for you, but just so you know, also under your responsibility, I'm sure it's not going to be any big deal, but there's digital surveillance system that we have, and we also have a telephone system for you to deal with. Damn vacuuming people. And the idea was, like with this, is that people would then go, how the hell do I deal with a telephone system, or how do I deal with a digital surveillance system? And then they could come and they could take the classes. Again, geek teaching other geeks. it's a problem, like with trying to do like videos in a place where people have lots of yards, is everybody likes all this mechanical equipment or whatever. Here, let me wander to the back. Let me wander around the house. Maybe we won't have so much noise. But anyways, basically it was the geeks and the real honest wannabe geeks, and explaining to them how to do this. And the problem though, is what I found over the years, is that's not really the folks that Eli, the computer guy, the channel, gets. A lot of it is the people, again, like I say, I'm 30 years old, I have 2 kids, I've wasted my entire life, and now I need to be able to make money so my kids can have some kind of a life. And it's like, I don't know what to do with that, to be honest with you, because who the hell knows? Again, this isn't the old days where you get your MCSE and you get a $50,000 a year job, and then you get your CCNA on top of that, and you go up to $70,000. This is the days of, can you provide value to the company? What? Right? And so I get all these people. And so that's where I think like my motivation has died, is because again, I think that's where I get so frustrated too, with everybody thinking like an a-hole. Is again, I mean, this is how geeks are, like how it goes back to that whole, the back and forth I have with Lewis. Again, if you think that is high drama, this is not the profession for you, or tech is not the profession for you, because the reality is, I mean, this is how geeks talk to each other on good days. If you think that's drama, you really don't want to see bad days. You really don't want to see bad days. Bad days is bad, right? And so I think that's where like my motivation has dropped. So what I think I'm gonna do with Eli the Computer Guy channel. So I have the Eli the Computer Guy channel. Oh, and that has all the classes and that stuff. Damn it. They just, I swear, people. This is why we need good European regulations on things like sound. There we go. That's a little better. Close the sound out and we'll go up to my office and finish this off. But so basically I created the Eli. So the Eli the Computer Guy channel, the idea is that's supposed to be for classes. And then Eli Computer Guy Live channel, I created that to the question and answer videos, right? So since basically my motivation and my drive is completely and utterly gone as far as doing classes is concerned, what I'm thinking then is, since I've got 700,000 subscribers on Eli the Computer Guy, what I can do is I can change the content there and start doing the question and answer videos on that channel, on Eli the Computer Guy channel, so that hopefully keeps building it up, and it's within the same genre. Right, so if I go from Eli the Computer Guy class videos to failed normal videos, Eli the Computer Guy vlog videos, I think we'll have a Chris Pirillo issue. On the other hand, I think, you know, if I go from Eli the Computer Guy class videos to Eli the Computer Guy question and answer videos, I may piss some people off, but it's still within the same genre of the tech videos, and therefore I can make more money and I can grow the Eli the Computer Guy channel. Because the thing is, like, Eli the Computer Guy has 700,000 subscribers. Eli Computer Guy Live has 70,000 subscribers. So literally, Eli the Computer Guy has 10 times. So that's what I'm kind of thinking here. What I'm kind of thinking is, if I start doing the question and answer videos on Eli the Computer Guy, that is a way to keep building that within its genre, as I then focus more and more on fail normal. Because I don't mind doing the question and answer videos. I actually like doing the question and answer videos. So, like I said, I did like 4 or 5 question and answer videos today. Really, my only problem with doing the question and answer videos is just being in the office. Like, having the office and doing them here. That's the only issue I have with doing the question and answer videos. So I like doing those. So that's kind of my thought. That is my kind of pondering where I think I'm going with the future with the YouTube content creation. And it's something to think about too. It's something to think about, because I mean, I think that's one thing like a lot of people don't realize, like when they shift careers or they shift doing things, is a lot of times they destroy what they've already created. And sometimes sometimes that's not a good idea. One of the things you think about is, can you keep it going along even on life support, right? So like, let's say you create some kind of e-commerce business. So like with Lewis, since Lewis comes up, right? Lewis does multiple things. He does content creation. He does his soldering stuff, his electronic repair. But he also does like an online business, right? Wholesaling. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's wholesaling. It's whatever. If you want resistors or whatever from motherboards. And so like, there are some times when you're doing something and you need to kill it entirely. So let's say he's doing that whole e-commerce thing and it's not really working out for him, so he decides to kill it entirely. But sometimes it's worth it to keep things going just on life support, just to say that you're doing it, right? So for somebody like him, if he does content creation and he does electronic repair and he does e-commerce, that's a really powerful trinity, especially, like I say, in this modern world of technology. If you have all of those things on your resume as a business owner, that makes you look really good, especially when you're dealing with other people. So like, even if his e-commerce thing, let's say it didn't work. I'm not saying it doesn't, but let's say it didn't. It might be worth it to keep it going on life support just to say that it's going. Like a lot of you folks out there, I tell a lot of folks to go and be consultants, right? And then there's this whole thing of, well, maybe I get a job or this or that happens and then I stop being a consultant. And I would argue you keep the consulting thing going, even at just like a base minimum. So let's say you're Kyle Morgan, you're one of these people, right? And you start your tech career as a consultant. You're just going out there, you repair your mom's computer and your grandma's computer and then friends' computer and churches' computers and all that kind of stuff. And you do that as a consultant. And you get a decent amount of money in. And then somebody offers you a real job. And then you're like, whoo-hoo, health benefits. Yes! Right? And so you jump. One of the things I'd have you folks think about is, instead of stopping being a consultant, just massively roll it back where you keep doing it, just not very often. So instead of doing 10 or 15 work orders per week, roll it back, again, not to a lot, but to like 1 work order per week. Because there's a couple of things there. Is one, that'll make it look very good on the resume. So, you have been doing consulting work. So you started the consulting work and you were doing it while you were working. So that's a long time. That's something that makes it look like you have experience. Also, it gives you things like, it gives you additional experience. So let's say you get work at a company and you're locked into, Windows repair. And then while you're doing the consulting thing, you also get Mac repair or whatever else. You get experience that way. And then you also have a fallback position. So like with me, with Fail Normal, if I keep Eli the Computer Guy going, basically as its own separate thing, change it a little bit, if I decide that Fail Normal fails, then I can hop back to Eli the Computer Guy, and I'm still making money. Right? Even if I go to this whole question and answer format there, I don't think I'll lose that many subscribers. Right? So instead of, like I say, like shutting it down, you just keep it going. And that's where, like, if you're a consultant, if you keep doing consulting work, again, 1 or 2 work orders per week, even if you get fired, even if you get laid off, then you still have something to fall back on. Again, like I say, Jerry Barnacles, he worked at Microsoft for 15 years. And one of the things that was good for him is he had started playing with this whole YouTube thing. So when Microsoft laid him off, he was able to jump over to this and push it harder. Make some money, right? So those are some things I would think about. Those would be some things I would think about, as like life lessons and all that kind of stuff. And it's what I'm thinking about with this whole YouTube content creation stuff. Because again, that's what you have to think about too. Like I say, with whether it's drive or that's, like I say, I don't like the whole idea of passion. Drive left me too. But that's the thing that you have to think about is it does come and it does go. You know what I'm saying? So you have to be careful with that. Like there's this idea, like with passion or whatever, that it like stays with you forever, right? Drive, it stays with you forever, but it comes and goes. Like I say, there was a point in time I was really excited about Eli the Computer Guy, and I really loved Eli the Computer Guy. I really enjoyed doing the classes and all that kind of stuff, but it's really gone, and it really has been gone for like 1.5 years now. I've been just trying to figure out what to do next, right? Doing this and that, the other thing. But I think this will work. Because again, I like doing the question and answer stuff. And so I'll just hop that over the main channel. That'll keep that trucking along. Then I don't know what to do with Eli Computer Guy Live. What should I do with Eli Computer Guy Live? Maybe I'll put that one on hiatus. So instead of putting Eli the Computer Guy on hiatus, I'll put Eli Computer Guy Live on hiatus. That might be the way to go. But again, these are all the decisions you have to make in life. Again, like I say, with the business. I think that's one thing like people don't understand with business. Is like there's all these random decisions that you have to make. Right? And again, there is no right or wrong answer. At least that you know now. 10 years from now, your spouse will tell you your right and wrong answers. after they have been long settled, you will be told what the right or wrong answer is. But there's no real like right or wrong answer. It's just you have to figure out, yeah, how are you going to do it? Where do you put your focus? What do you want to put anything on? Again, like I say, that's the whole thing. Like I say with Eli the Computer Guy, is I've been trying to force myself to do content. But I really don't want to do content. Like I said, I've been staring. Look at this. This is the server. That's a server right there. Can you see that server? I hate that server. It is a FreeNAS Mini, or no, it's a FreeNAS Mini XL with FreeNAS 9.3 on it, and I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. Oh, I just feel like they're like milking a dying cow. I feel like so many, like I say, these tech companies or these other things, I feel like I run into so many people in this industry and they're all trying to milk dying cows. And you're like, just leave the damn cow alone. The cow is dying. The cow is on its deathbed. Just stop milking it. Just give it its time. Give it its peace. Just stop. They all want to milk it. Like I say, this is just a beast. I don't know who came up with this idea. Like, how am I supposed to... And like, again, like I say, just so you guys understand. So let me do this. And we'll go to FreeNAS. FreeNAS, right? No, iXsystems. I'm sorry. We'll go to iXsystems, right? FreeNAS Mini. Just so you, I mean, because I know some people out there are like, oh, Eli, you're just being melodramatic again. And of course, I'm very good with being melodramatic. But, so we come down here, right? And again, you know, it's an AS Rock motherboard, system on a chip, whatever. 32 gigs, like $100 worth of RAM. We go down here and we go, so we can buy it on Amazon. But let's just show you. So this is the one they sent me, right? So it's an 8-bay. So it starts at $1,499. Yeah, whatever, right? So you go down here with RAM, the minimum you get is 32 gigs. That's pretty good, right? But then we go down to hard drives, right? So what do we want? So we want 6 terabytes of storage. So I think that's 8 drives. So that's 8 drives, right? $2,300 for 8 drives. So we go here and we do 2,300 divided by 8. And we see that each drive is $287.50. And you're like, okay, well, how much would they be on NewEgg? And so we go to NewEgg.com and we do 1 TB red WD. Let me see if this comes up. Yeah, more or less. This is one. I mean, like, I can't say this is specifically the one, but look, a 3 terabyte is $109. So I'm pretty sure, more or less, this is the one that they put into their computer. 6 gigs, SATA, 64. I mean, fine hard drive, fine. I got no issue with the damn hard drive. $60. Again. $80 before the coupon or whatever. $61 fucking dollars. And they want to charge $287.50. How am I supposed to get on a video and with a straight face go, this is something that you should buy? Again, it's not even a 3 terabyte drive. Again, like I say, that's what I don't understand. So it's an 8-bay thing. So if you're going to charge $287, I mean, again, a 4 terabyte drive is $109. Like, I guess that would be the thing. Like, if they did, so a 4 terabyte, basically the same thing, comes in at $150. So again, you know, I'm not anti-business. I'm not anti-profit. I know they got to earn money. So if they sold you 4 terabyte drives for $287, again, I'm not saying that's a bargain, but I feel a little bit better about it. Again, well, yeah, so it's so again, for $244, you can buy a 6 terabyte drive from NewEgg. I don't, like, how am I supposed to, with a straight face, get, again, a 6 terabyte 7200 RPM NAS 284. So how am I, with a straight face, supposed to get on and do a review of FreeNAS, whatever the hell, iXsystems? I mean, it doesn't, again, there is, they want to sell a $60 hard drive for $287 a piece, right? So again, you look at that, and so you do 287.5 minus, let's say, 61 equals, so 226 times 8 equals, so they literally $1,800 profit for simply giving you hard drives. And again, I'm not anti-profit. God bless, I am not anti-profit. But how am I supposed to get on camera and with a straight face tell anybody that there is any common sense reason to buy this thing? You are literally, for a mid-grade, pre-built machine, going to end up, it's going to be like $2,500 extra dollars, and you're going to get an open source FreeNAS operating system on it. Like $2,500, their profit. So it's like I say, it's like $4,300 that they're trying to charge for this thing, right? So again, like total capacity, whatever. Yeah, $37.99. How am I supposed to review this thing with a straight face? I can't. I cannot. And so, again, like I say, some people don't really understand sometimes why I kind of lose it doing the whole video classes or video reviews. Because this is the stuff I get. And again, like I say, and this is from a company that I thought I respected. Again, like I say, I like FreeNAS. I've been a big supporter of FreeNAS. But I just don't. You go, okay, read cache. You can do a read cache. They don't tell you how much the read cache is. You know, write cache. You can do write, because you do this is like solid state drive, read and write cache. But you get $145 per one of those. You know, they do give the NICs. Again, there are 2 1 gig NICs that are included, whatever. And you know, you can do a warranty, 1 year and again, 1 year hardware warranty is included. $300 for a 3-year warranty. And you're like, how am I supposed to look anybody in the face and say you should buy that? I can explain QNAP to people. Again, I don't actually prefer QNAP, but I understand if you bought QNAP. I can explain Buffalo to people. Again, Buffalo is not my first choice, but again, for like mid-grade industrial settings, Buffalo works really well. I can explain Drobo. Drobo doesn't have the best throughput, but again, if you want to be able to easily expand storage, I actually own a Drobo. I bought a Drobo. Again, that's not even given to me. I bought a Drobo. And again, Synology, admittedly Synology did send me 2 of their units, but again, Synology is generally what I would tell people to go for. But I don't even understand, like I say, like with Buffalo, I can say, well, again, for mid-range industrial environments, it seems like a good solution. I can't. I just, oh, golly. Again, if I was half the asshole people think I was. But I mean, like I said, I don't even know what to do with this thing. I think I'm just going to send them an email tomorrow. Maybe that's what I'm going to do. Maybe I'm just going to send them an email tomorrow. And I just got to say, there's no way in good conscience I can say good things about this. I mean, it's just, it doesn't. And that's where I've lost my drive with the Eli, the computer guy stuff. Because I get so much of this crap. And it's just like, do you folks even know this is crap? Like, I don't even get it. They're like, ooh, we want you to do a good review of our product. And it's like, well, first thing you could do is make a good product. Make a product that makes half a bit of sense. Make a product that I'm not literally sitting here like laughing about how the hell I'm supposed to. Again, because I even spec'd it out, right? So for a similar NAS, like before you get it to all the hard drives, you can actually buy a Dell. You can buy a Xeon Dell. That's like a real machine, like a real Xeon machine, not the ITX motherboard thing that's in there. You can buy that for like $1,400. So for like literally $100 less than the minimum thing on here, you can buy an 8-bay Dell 32 gigs of RAM, ECC, blah, Xeon, quad-core Xeon 3-point-something gigahertz processor, blah, for $100 less than this thing. And then you can just go out and download FreeNAS and put it on the Dell server. So what am I going to tell people? Well, you could buy a Dell server, like a Dell enterprise-grade server for $100 less than this thing. And then, again, put in your own hard drives that are worth a damn. Or you could buy this. Oh, my frustrations in life. But anyways, again, I don't know if that helps you folks. I don't know if that clears anything up. People are like, I now understand how business really works. But I actually had a different purpose for this video. I was going to talk about red flags. I actually had like this whole idea of how I was going to talk to you folks about red flags, because I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday who's going to be he's trying to create a new business, or he's trying to go into a new business venture. And it was interesting because basically what I told him, because he was looking for my advice, and I was like, here's the thing. On paper, it sounds awesome. And in my heart of hearts, I want to give you a thumbs up. I think when you say that's a great thing. But then I told him, it was like, you know, with me, I go out there and I talk with everybody and I poke everybody. And it's like, I have talked with a lot of people in that industry, and I've poked a lot of people in that industry. And although it seems like I should be really successful, although it seems like I should be a golden goose, there are a lot of dead geese around. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know why they keep dying. I don't know why they keep stagnating. But relatively intelligent people, relatively motivated people with basically that idea can't seem to make it work. So sometimes, if other smart people can't make it work, maybe that's a red flag that you should stay away from. But that's what I was going to talk about today. But then we just talked about the future. But again, at the end of the day, does it really matter? You are just here to listen to Eli the Computer Guy's dulcet tones. Hello, Eli the Computer Guy speaking. Tonight we shall be talking about something. Anyways. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts with going into the future. So I think the question and answer videos will go to Eli the Computer Guy. I think Eli Computer Guy Live will kind of go into a holding pattern for a while, and then Fail Normal. Again, we'll keep going forward. Because I like Fail Normal. I know it's only $200. But again, that's kind of like with the whole vision thing, is you kind of got to see where you're going. Like, even when you're making $200 per month, you got to see where you're making a lot more than $200. And then you're like, well, how do you know, Eli? How do you know when you have a good idea? And that's a fucked up thing, you know. How do you know the difference between enthusiasm and delusion? And here's a little secret. You'll know 10 years from now. Yep. And basically, it'll be like how you're laughing about this 10 years from now. You'll either be on the beach, drinking a nice, good German beer, watching the sunset, laughing about how easy and how amazing the last 10 years have been. Or you'll be sitting there, slogging away in some work environment somewhere, talking to somebody and laughing about how you tried to do something 10 years ago and how it failed so abysmally you're now an employee again. So one way or another, you'll be laughing about the experience. It's just how you laugh about the experience. You don't know. The difference, I should do a video on that, the enthusiasm versus delusion. And again, it's that whole thing, like the difference between like genius and insanity. And again, it's all about success. Again, like I said, that's why I laugh so much, like when everybody brings up Steve Jobs. And again, Spaghetti Monster, bless Steve Jobs. You know, Spaghetti Monster, bless all these folks. But there's like this cult, like somehow that like he is like this perfect entity, and that everybody should follow. And it's like, no. it is so situational. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, whether you deal with the right, whether you deal with so many of these folks, it's what lined up at the time to make it all happen. And again, it's so many things. It's not just the person, it's the time and technology, it's the environment, if it's people around you who are willing to invest. Again, you know, if Mark Zuckerberg had gone to Towson State instead of Harvard, same human being, right? You know, again, if Bill Gates had been born in Atlanta, you know, if Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak had been truly arrested and prosecuted for when they created their Captain Crunch, their little phone freaking boxes or whatever, right? How would it have been different? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like right now we have this idea of Steve Jobs in the garage. What if that exact same year he had spent in prison instead? Anyways, I think I'm going off on a tangent at this point. But again, it doesn't really matter, because you just want to hear me talk. Whether it's blathering or blabbering, nobody really seems to care. Again, Eli, we would listen to you tell us how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't understand why. But as I say, just run with it. Just run with it. So anyways, that will be the talk for the day. I think tomorrow... Yeah, talking with you folks. Again, talking to a camera, Lewis talks about that every once in a while. It's kind of like therapy. And I think like talking to the camera today, I have realized I just have to email these people and say there's no way in hell I can't be snarky as fuck on review. I mean, like, I'll send this box back to them or whatever. But this is a joke. This is a bad joke. Again, I can explain to you Buffalo, I can explain to you QNAP, I can explain to you Drobo, I can explain to you Synology, I can explain to you FreeNAS, like FreeNAS, I can explain. This is a bad joke, So yeah, I think I will call them tomorrow, and then I'll start doing question and answer videos on the main Eli the Computer Guy channel, and then away we go. That'll be the way we go. So anyways, with that, I've been yabbering for 1 hour and 11 minutes now, which is more than enough time. So I will call it a day and talk to you folks tomorrow.